All right, hey everybody, we are live for Growlersations. I think it's episode 4. I don't really know exactly what it is, but we're here with beer, drinking it. I got Scott Metzger. We are once again at a secret beer drinking location, unaware to anybody where we hide and drink our beers. Today we are drinking Brain Dead Brewing Cerveza Oscura. Scott and I wrestled to see whose beer we were going to drink. He won, so we're drinking my beer.
Yeah, which I appreciate. I like my beer, but I drink a lot of it. It's good to mix it up. Cheers.
Cheers. So, Scott, you are the owner, founder, proprietor, man behind Freetail Brewing. What is Freetail Brewing?
So Freetail, is one of those breweries that started up in Texas when it was a bad idea to open or I won't say a bad idea. It turned out to be a really good idea. But most people thought it was a really bad idea to open up a brewery in Texas. It definitely wasn't a good idea, and people looked at you funny when you suggested it. But we opened in 2008. The whole idea, and this is what's kind of fun and crazy and gives us good stories now. The whole idea was that we were going to open a brew pub, develop a little bit of a reputation, and then start distributing. There's one minor difficulty with that, and then that was completely illegal in Texas. So in our business plan, there was a line that said, go out and change the law to allow this whole thing to happen. Which, all you entrepreneurs at home,
go dogfish head that bitch.
Yeah, if that's in your business plan, start over.
Scratch it out. Scratch it out.
Don't try to follow my footsteps, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but it's actually kind of incredible that we were able to change the law, and achieve that goal. Because and often I still don't really believe it's real, and sometimes I wish it wasn't real. Like when we were just a little brew pub, the year before, 2012, which is the year before we did change the law, I took a vacation every month of 2012. It was pretty awesome, and I don't take a vacation ever. So, that's what you get for hard work. Punishment, mostly.
Punishment. Yeah, that's kind of par for the course. With regards to serving people anything for a living, regardless of what that is. So you gotta be ready to take it.
I've yet to have any good deed go unpunished, so I'm batting 1,000 there.
Scott and I, our friendship goes back almost the whole duration of Freetail Brewing's operation. I got into the beer business back in San Antonio myself. Making Dad proud, dropping out of college and mopping floors at his bar at Flying Saucer San Antonio, and being a young lad that was just trying to drink some beer and have a good time. That was where Scott and I got to know each other. And so even though I didn't really do a whole lot to provide for the San Antonio beer scene, we still have that San Antonio beer scene.
Well, you actually
coursing through my blood and my
you did a lot because you were part of the Flying Saucer team where I spent a lot of money and it very much shaped and influenced what Freetail would become. So I lived in the apartments right across the street from the Saucer.
Oh yeah.
And I remember distinctly one there was a day where it froze and so everyone got sent home. In San Antonio, I don't know if it's like that in Dallas, but in San Antonio, if it's below 40 and there's a chance a drop of water might hit the ground, someone sneezes, everything's closed. But this time it actually did freeze. It's like ice everywhere. I lived at my apartment was at the back of the complex, and there was this big hill that I had to climb up, which is in normal conditions is not a problem, but when it was covered in about a half inch of ice, it became awfully difficult. So I was bundled up. It was like maybe 12 degrees outside. I'm bundled up and climbing the saucer. It probably took me 30 minutes to walk a quarter of a mile. Getting up this hill, grabbing tree branches, skating across the road. Yeah, and then I finally got there, drinking a bunch of beers. But I was there all the time. It definitely shaped and influenced. That's where I went to celebrate. That's where I went to, drown in heartbreaks. I remember, and I don't think this young lady works there anymore. I don't think the TABC watches this, but I remember one time, $2 mystery beer night. I had just broken up with a girl earlier in the day, or she broke up with me, and $2 mystery beer night. I remember getting my tab, and it was $30. And I remember New Belgium Triple being heavily featured in
$2 mystery beers. That's like, a Ted Rowell joint right there.
Yeah, and I was like, you served me 15 beers? What's wrong with you? And she's like, it was like her first week. I'm like, well, I don't think you're going to make it.
Yeah, you're not cut out for this. Oh, that's funny. San Antonio, I had some funny memories from that. My first St. Patrick's Day to be like working the Flying Saucer on St. Patrick's Day, that saucer is popping. That was a good place to go for any sort of holiday of any kind. I remember I got a little involved in the beer drinking during the course of my shift when I probably shouldn't have. And I think it was one of those days where Ted dressed up as Captain Morgan and just went around putting Captain Morgan in people's drinks when they weren't looking. Even like staff back at the house, you'd take a sip of your Coke and spit it out because there was a big floater of spice rum in there that you weren't expecting. And I thought I was tough, and I was, Lucas hollered at me to go take a keg and change the keg in the outside bar. I'm the bar back. At this point, I've dressed up entirely like a saucer girl. I'm wearing a young woman's shirt and a kilt that was smaller than the normal kilt that I would wear. I thought I was cool taking a half barrel and throwing it up over my shoulders and walking it out. And it was one of those St. Patty's days where it like froze a little like half inch of a little quarter inch of ice. And I was walking with the keg and whoop, hit that ice and slipped and fell while carrying a keg on my back.
Yeah.
I made the biggest ass out of
That's
myself.
not one of those airline pillows.
No.
You don't want that around your neck.
Oh, no. Yeah, that was the last time I ever tried to act tough and throw a
I
half
always
barrel
think
on
it'd
my
be
shoulder.
great if all you like saucer people got together and wrote like a book. But I've been told that it might like ruin families. So maybe it's just best left unsaid.
It was, the especially in those young days, because there was a lot of really young general managers. There wasn't beer management to go out there and get. And Keith and Ted and Lucas and Jake Rainey over in Houston. Those guys were.
Shout out to Jake if he's watching, by the way.
Yeah, Jake Rainey, what's up? He's doing the Cottonwood group of bars in Houston area now.
Jake, you promised me more taps in Houston, man. I'm coming for those.
I promised you at some point I'd send you some cooler kegs than Red and Grits. I'll make that happen too. But yeah, I don't drink in Houston very often. That's something I need to do better at. My partner Jeff here at Braindead, he's from Houston, so he typically kind of takes the lead on the Houston-oriented things.
We need to plan a trip to Houston together and just like team up and knock those out together. Because I don't get to Houston as much as I should either.
Go to Brash and hang with old Ben.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably not a popular sentiment here, but I mean, Houston's kind of a cool town.
Hey,
I don't understand the whole rivalry thing.
You can get a passport in 24 hours in Houston. That's fucking cool.
And there's probably some people in Houston who need it, but Houston's a cool town. I don't get the whole Dallas Houston rivalry thing. My only beef with any city in Texas is Austin, and their tacos are terrible. And that's all I care about. And everyone else is cool with me.
I think the beef comes from pride. And it's not necessarily that Dallas people don't like Houston people or Houston people don't like Dallas people. It's that we both think that we're best. And we both can't be right.
Well, it's funny because you're both wrong because San Antonio's best.
There you
obviously.
Go. The biggest small town in the country.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. I was going to say our team does have the most championships, so I guess we're tied with
How are we doing on time?
Cowboys.
What time is it out there? Can you tell? I can't tell.
Oh well. Well, we're making progress on this growler.
Indeed.
So what else is new up here? I want to hear about.
On here. Oh yeah. Go on.
Oh, I mean, what's new with you? Yeah, I don't. Do people ask questions?
Yeah, you can do whatever the hell you want. We're just hanging out, drinking a beer, and chatting, trying to show people what it's like to drink beers and hang out. That's what we're doing. No, that's not working.
Well, hopefully people try this at home, hang out and drink beers.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. I'm trying to stimulate that, you know. I feel like us old school beer drinkers sitting down, crushing a growler of dark Mexican lager, just like kicking it.
As opposed to, here's my impersonation of a millennial beer drinker.
All right. Check in. Did you get a badge?
Retweet. Right? Like, I mean, I'm guilty of it too, but let's all put our phones down and like talk to each other.
They make these glasses that we almost got for Brain Dead that have to have the phone underneath it in order for it to step up. It's only got a half step underneath the glass.
Really?
So you have to set something.
That's pretty badass.
For the glass to not fall
This
over.
is like the place where that would work. I'd feel.
Yeah, we don't have TVs. The whole goal of Brain Dead is eat some beer, drink some.
Beer's food.
And hang out and talk to some people, and don't stare at your phones, don't stare at the TVs. I don't watch sports, but I'll stare at Sports Center if it's on. Like, it's cool athletes doing cool shit.
Stuff moving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stuff moving.
Do you get a lot of people complaining about TVs and like? Yeah, I know this is a big sports town too. Like all these teams, are people like, is it a frequent complaint, or people have kind of acclimated to knowing that this is not the place?
I don't think we at least try to spin it with, hey, you still have your phone. If you want to watch sports, log into our Wi-Fi. We got fiber. It'll be fast as shit. People sit in this booth right here and tilt their phone up against the thing and watch whatever they could be watching. It's technically it's the same thing, I guess. But yeah, some people get frustrated. What I think's really funny is a place without TVs. I guess it's our search engine optimization or something. But when college teams come in from out of town, Friday it's popping here with all the sports people. Like, if it's Florida Gators versus Alabama at the Cotton Bowl or whatever, like they're all here wearing their colors and hanging out. I think they want to go to a brewery during the day. Yeah, and in Dallas, there's not really any breweries that are open that serve food during the day.
And you're right here in the heart of. Well, you're not in downtown, right? But you're close enough to downtown to.
Yeah. Hop, skip, and a jump for sure.
I walked from my hotel and I didn't fear for my life once, so that was good.
That's the idea.
I lived in DFW like in 2001. Okay. And downtown was like dead, and Deep Elm was scary, unless we were coming to a show at like Trees, or I don't even know what other like venues, or like Deep Elm Live or whatever there was back then. But
Trees.
Yeah, it's badass just
Holding
to see.
on.
It's just to see stuff going on. This was pretty scary back then.
Well, it's definitely not anymore. It's popping. There's kids with their there's 3 generations walking down the street hand in hand doing their thing. As with any neighborhood on Saturdays, it gets scary in regards depending on what you're afraid of. As a Deep Ellum guy.
Scorpions. That's about it.
As a Deep Ellum guy, well, the Scorpions are here. They're a biker gang. They're around sometimes. So, you do run into some Scorpions in Deep Ellum from time to time. Or a biking club of enthusiasts. But the thing about that I always think about is like there's just times have changed so much. When I was sneaking down here, I was 17, like trying to sneak into trees to go see toadies, I remember those times, and it was cool, and it's fun to be a part of Deep Ellum now, but not like.
I saw toadies at Trees at like the Y2K concert. It was New Year's Eve, 1999. When we all thought, and there was like no water to find at any grocery store because everyone was afraid that. And how ridiculous! Like, probably millennials are like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?" So in the year 2000, everyone thought the world was going to end because we didn't plan on our years having 4 digits. So all you youngsters out there, go read about the great Y2K. But I was there at Trees for that show. It was like one of the most amazing. And Pinkston was the other band that opened for it. It was like a good Dallas band at the time.
I don't remember.
I used to
them,
love
but
all
that's
those
awesome.
Dallas bands. Baboon, is Baboon still around?
Not to my knowledge,
No.
but I'm not
They
super
were
hip on
badass
the music
too.
thing. You know?
Okay. So,
I just trust my friends in the neighborhood, and I go show up at their shows.
we're going to this show. Let's go.
You were saying trees, Baboon, going to see cool bands. There's something I wanted to chime in there, and I forgot.
I apologize.
It's part of the deal when you're
Rewind.
when you're drinking a growler real fast, and maybe partaking in extracurricular activities before Growlersations.
I partook in a walk. Whatever you did is cool too. Well, but what I mean, what else is
let's
up,
drink
man?
some beer.
Like, we missed that cheers. Let's do it again. There we go.
Just really trying to evolve this thing. We just had Festival. You had La Muerta release. Tell me about La Muerta release.
Yeah, that's always been like one of our biggest things. Kind of going back to, we did the first one in February or January of 2009. This was the 10th La Muerta day, and we do these bottle releases. Kind of, again, not to pat myself on the back, but I kind of feel like we invented the Texas bottle release because
You did.
back then only brew pubs could do it. Well, still only brew pubs could do it, but no one kind of knew that brew pubs could sell bottled beer to go. So we invested in a bottling line, which you've been to our original pub. If anyone's been to our original pub, it's not very big. There's not a lot of room. There's definitely not room for a bottling line. But we'd wheel this thing out, bottle up our beer, and then release La Muerta. And we'd have like hundreds of people on our patio at 6 a.m. I remember showing up one year and somebody handed me a list, and I showed up at 6:30, and someone handed me a list of the 75 people who had already been there. And the release didn't start until 11. So kind of cultivated that, embraced it. So this was the 10th one. It went great. All our variants. We just won a gold medal at GABF for La Muerta a month ago. So that was kind of
awesome.
really good timing.
That was
That was our
awesome.
first medal. After a lot of honorable mentions.
I did not win anything there, but seeing you pop up on that thing, I felt like I won a little something.
Well,
so,
man,
I'm team brew pub. It's a small
yeah.
team, but
yeah, for sure. Yeah, but that was it's still, I can barely remember. It was very surreal. I wasn't even paying attention to the award ceremony. I think I was reading some article on stars or something. Not movie stars, but physical interplanetary stars. And then I hear this, I'm like, we make a beer called that. Oh shit, that's us. I was like, who am I gonna have to sue? But no, that was us. Awesome. So it was very surreal. Because typically, I always thought if we won a medal, it'd be a gold or a bronze or a silver. So they went through that. I'm we're not gonna win gold.
You gotta dabble before you get to the top of the pedestal there.
But no, boom, and it's surreal. And I'm just really happy for our brew team who put that together, did all that. So.
Well, that's great. I really appreciate everything you've done for brew pubs in general. That bottle release, that's what I've tried to turn Festival in for ourselves as a party that not only celebrates the release of our beer, but celebrates the badass other beers that other people are making around.
That's like a badass festival in the parking lot, right? 50-something beers?
Yeah, at 2:30 in the afternoon, there was an adult in a diaper beating an upside-down cymbal full of lighter fluid, and Sweatloaf, the Butthole Surfers cover band, my man Adrian, was diapering hard and beating on this thing, and I was worried that the guy who I hired to do sound, JP, it was all his sound equipment, speakers and everything, and I was like, oh, shit, he's going to be freaked out that there was lighter fluid exploding all over his stage. And I look over and he's recording it with one hand and be like, yeah, with the other one. So he was a big fan.
That's awesome.
Well, next time, let's go ahead and kill this growler. Growlersations, thank you for joining us. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to my channel. I need more subscribers so I can actually name it and not have my channel be called GHXC79324. So click on that subscription button, and also tell your friends to go out and drink beer and hang out and be nice to each other. That's really the whole goal that we're trying to do here is drink beer and hang out and do our thing. So thank you for being a part of it. If you're watching, appreciate you out there. And
I had no more beer.
we're officially done. Have a good one.
Oh yeah, I don't usually drink that fast. I've got some
Me neither.
some burps going on.